Hello and welcome to the first episode of Beyond Sprint, the podcast where we dive into the stories behind startups, exploring the origin of their ideas and the challenges they face today. I'm your host, Carlos Jonas, and I couldn't be more excited to kick things off with Karin Kuusk, the co-founder and the CEO of Motiveer. Motiveer is a platform redefining corporate training by leveraging artificial intelligence to match organizations with tailored learning and development experts. I first had the pleasure of meeting Karin and the Motiveer team during the Founders Club by Startup Wise Guys in early 2023. So please, join me in welcoming Karin Kuusk to the show. Hi Karin, great to have you on the podcast as the first guest of Beyond Sprint.
Thank you, Carlos, for having me. Happy to be here.
Where does the podcast find you? Where are you located now?
At the moment, I'm in Tallinn, Estonia. Rainy Estonia.
Right. I think we can dive just into the podcast, and maybe we could start out by having you introduce yourself and also sharing a little background of Motiveer to the listeners.
Shortly, I'm one of the founders of Motiveer, which passion is to connect all the experts and companies and eventually, I think, all the people in the world to find them best matches. Not as a dating app, but as a professional sense, that if you need some good mentor or expert, then we're going to find them and we're going to calculate the matching rate also. It's more personalized approach, and we are driving to, how can I say, we're like trying to navigate through all the data that's all over the place now. You have like thousands of coaches and mentors and how to navigate through that information. So we are here to filter that and to make it more personal, because we believe that you cannot automate everything and you cannot lose the people, even if it's the AI time. How to combine all these and not losing the human touch.
Motiveer is on quite a big challenge here for big enterprises. Maybe you can share a bit more. What made you start the idea?
Well, actually, like all the startups, they begin with your personal pain. And then once you have your personal pain and your first problem you start to solve, then 1,000 times you will make small pivots. And then you end up to the final product, or you think that it's final product until you have found market fit and how to bring it to the market and see the highest value in that. But for me, it started with my personal problem, and that was actually how to understand, how to take my career path, how to change it. And then I started looking for some trainings that I have taken and everything. So basically putting together all my CV, because I wanted something to change in my life. But I didn't want to go to have the third master degree. I started to Google for the trainers and I found out, oh my God, how can I choose so many of them? And then I was thinking back to the times when I had all the corporate trainings. Luckily, I have had all the employers who have been really generous, offering all the trainings and everything. And then I looked through the certificates and then I understood, yeah, they offered me quite good budget, but they never used that. So I understood that all my 10 years career, I never took a voluntary training. And actually, I had the money and the budget by the company, and quite decent one. And now when I was planning to have something, I'm like, oh my God, I need to pay from my own pocket now. So why did I do that? So I digged into that. I interviewed all the companies and tried to understand how their budgets are used. Are they used? Are they serving the meaning what's there for the external trainings and the people development? And I understood that it's just so, how can I say, time consuming, takes a lot of effort, as I was trying to find somebody for myself. And if I'm not every day there, I don't know, HR specialist or training specialist, that I know all these trainers market. Well, I was just an internal auditor or just a lawyer. I don't know anything about that. For me, it was really challenging. So it was easier not to use it and better to work during that time.
I hear your personal perspective of not using up that budget you have.
Yes.
And Also, understanding how to find the best fit in terms of coach or trainer.
But how can you choose who is
Yeah.
the good one for you? First of all, what topic or what training is considering what you need, considering your already existing skills, your knowledge and everything, and how to find the people who are the best ones to sit for you, to give you this knowledge. And at the moment in this modern world, it's quite challenging to find you.
When did you start connecting trainers with the companies?
You mean when we started to approach them?
Pretty much when the business started, because if I recall correctly, before you developed the platform, you were doing that as agency. So maybe you want to share a bit more on
Yes, before we developed anything technically, we just tested whether there's an interest and whether we can do it manually. Can we like put all our team's efforts together and Google and all the knowledge and basically copied the actions that people are currently doing. So firstly, everybody's Googling, then they're calling to the friend, then they're reaching out to the expert, then they're reflecting if this would be their topic, if this could be their suitable customer, analyzing manually. So this we started already, I think, 4 years ago or something like this. So we made the manual matches and then we understood, yes, as the satisfaction rate was with our matches like 100%. And the most valuable feedback was that, oh, I never knew about this trainer, for example, but like he or she was so good and perfect fit that we never thought about that some small detail in the background information, like, I don't know, education in aviation, for example, would matter when I'm going to make a training to an aviation company. It doesn't matter even if the training is for communication. So it's these kind of details that we discovered that can make you more relatable to the companies or your experience with these kind of companies. So we invited vetted experts and referred experts to our platform to join and to build it together. And we understood from the beginning that we cannot do it ourselves, that we need to do it all together with the experts because they actually have the knowledge. They have the knowledge how to understand what is the customer need, what are the questions that they need to ask. They are like the core business, not we. We only support our experts with technological solutions, ease up their work also, that they can find the best matching customers for themselves. So we established this kind of community and created this company with virtual shareholders.
Usually a common question that startup founders have, what is a good indicator for validation that we have the problem, we have the solution, that we can move on and invest into developing the platform? So maybe the question therefore is, what were the indicators that convinced you and your team to move forward with the platform development?
I would say the moment when you understand that you cannot move on without the further development. This is the first stage when you understand it. So for example, for us, it was the matching model. Firstly, we did it everything in the Excel, just like manually. We collected the data. And then we saw already, okay, the pool is already so big, we need to create a preliminary model already there that goes somehow like half automatically already, that selects the criteria when there's sufficient data. For us, how we collected the data and the data rows was the number of requests that came in and how to deliver. And when we understood that, okay, we're like 3 people need to deliver for 1 request and we need to spend like 5 hours on that, then it's too much. So we need somehow to improve that. Otherwise, we don't have any time to do other things like marketing or go to after the companies or something like this. And basically, I would say that all the decision has been only not like nice to have basis, but the needs basis. But this is for the model and this kind of like AI and data engineering part. But for the platform itself, that is like what the customer sees is that if you go already like further, they want to see something. They don't want just somebody like to call there. So you have to have some kind of like page where they can go, where they can see that it's a decent company, some like recommendations and something like this. But we haven't invested in that in a money sense, nothing. In that sense that we only connected the low codes because we just need the front face, that it's really easy for the customers to navigate there. They can understand, they can go there, they can do all their actions there.
There's the backend system that
Yeah.
helps you connect. And
Yeah.
then there is the front-end system for the customer.
Yeah. And for the community also, I would say that it was easier, or like it helped the community to feel the sense of belonging more when they have this kind of system where they can enter and they can see the history, what they have made, to move it out from the mailbox a bit, to create it and to ease up and to test it also, what's needed and what functions are needed. At the moment, we see that yes, they don't use a lot of functions that we have, the customer side, and it's really good for the testing when you haven't invested, I don't know, like 100K to that, but when you just have like the simplest solution to see whether they start to use it or not. And if they're not using this, what is the problem? Whether it's like the user experience is bad, or they don't need it. So like the minimum viable is always, I wouldn't say that it's the first step in, but the minimum viable product we're keeping always that.
But just going back, I think that what you mentioned was rather critical, especially when it comes to entrepreneurs that are starting out. Like you started out with Excel, and the indicators that convinced you we have to start thinking about automations was when the pool of the experts was increasing, and also the requests coming in were increasing.
Not the amount or the number of the requests, but the complexity of the request. So it at one point it already was so complex, the wishes. It wasn't just I have some motivation problems, I need some motivational training. It came like a really detailed problem description where you already need to have more sophisticated model for the matching. You can't anymore by heart to tell that who would be a good match. Like going to a doctor, I know I have this illness, please describe me the prescription. It's not like that. You need to go to the doctor and they need to diagnose you. You need to say that I have pain here and then I have a headache or whatever are your symptoms. You need to tell that and then let the doctor do this side. So we're actually more like this, and this turned our model more complex, and we were not able anymore to create the value that actually we had with the amount of the experts anymore manually.
Moving forward into our timeline, so the point where we met, can you imagine it's already 2 years ago?
I'm so bad in years because it's like flying by when you're a startup founder. You're like day and night.
Do you remember that you were in sort of Wise Guys Founders Club?
Yeah.
That was the first cohort of the Founders Club that we started with Sergio and sort of Wise Guys team. How did you decide to join the program?
I needed to. So for me, it was this follow the stars moment. I founded a company with another person that we're doing this now. My whole team has been switched during that time. I didn't have a co-founder at that moment. And I was all alone, and I understood that I cannot do this alone, but I still have the energy and I still have the strong belief in the product and the needs for that. But I don't have all the skills, and I'm not a solo founder type. I need to reflect my ideas with somebody, and I need my support group. And then I was scrolling Instagram and I got this ad, Founders Club, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And then I just applied, like randomly. And I got in, and now I have the best co-founder that one can find. And we have been operating together already 2 years now,
What was that selling point that caught your eye when you were scrolling Instagram? Was that finding the co-founder?
Yeah. Because this was my problem, this was my pain, and the ad was on the right place, on the right time. I was already looking like, okay, who to ask? It's really challenging to find a co-founder from the market. Just like, I don't know, hey, would you like to do a startup? Because usually what it requires is dedication. You need to have really strong connection with the problem that the startup is solving. You need to have your own money in that sense, and freedom and time to invest there, because you don't know when you can earn some money, and if you don't earn for some time the money, what happens with you? So, and at the same time, you need to have the time and opportunity to invest your time there. Like if you have a full-time job, whether you're willing to quit, what is like. And if you go to the market and out of the blue, you're asking from somebody, hey, would you like to be a startup co-founder? They're like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, 100 minutes, 200 minutes, 300 minutes, 400 minutes, 500 minutes, 600 minutes, 700 minutes, 800 minutes, 900 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, 100 minutes, 200 minutes, 300 minutes, 400 minutes, 500 minutes, 600 minutes, 700 minutes, 800 minutes, 900 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, 100 minutes, 200 minutes, 300 minutes, 400 minutes, 500 minutes, 600 minutes, 700 yeah, well, I have my debts to pay here, and I have like home loan and everything. So, and it's not another job that you offer them.
Yeah.
You offer them the opportunity to create maybe something really good together. Just an opportunity. It's like a lottery.
Yeah.
And what the Founders Club sold for me was that there were already all the people in one room who already wanted to be in the startup business, who had already validated for themselves these kind of criteria. Can I invest my time? Do I have the finances? Would I like to be a part of the startup life? Would I like to try it out? Am I willing to dedicate my time and money there, basically? So it was like the most critical checkbox that were done already. And then you only had to figure it out whether whose idea is appealing to who feels the connection.
So pretty much you could say that Founders Club, the program itself, filtered out the people with whom you could actually jump into the startup adventure, meaning that you didn't need to go out there in the open market.
Like the pre-matches were already made. Yeah. It's like the same, the matching system, that the pre-matches were already made and the relevant people were already in the room. And the only thing that you had to figure it out was that whether you were fit or not in one team, whether you can like get along or not.
Well said. One more thing about the sort of wise guys before we move to the present moment of Motiveer. Probably you remember that we did the sprint together. So that was one of the last parts of the Founders Club. And if I recall correctly, you were developing how the platform, the front-end element would look for the customer. And during that sprint, you developed the mock-up, how the platform looks, and tested it with potential customers. So looking from the perspective of today, what was the impact of that sprint on the later stages after the sprint and the Founders Club?
That was good because it was like the first sketch for our needs, and we were able to evaluate whether we need to invest a lot of money there or can we like solve it with the low code, because you had like everything on the paper and then you figure it out, okay, how I'm gonna solve it when I don't have any money yet, or how much do I need to invest there. So basically I would say that it was the first sketch, and it was good to gather the ideas and thoughts what would be the next steps.
Getting the vision, gathering the sketches, and getting that clarification if it's a go-go or a no-go.
Also to show it to the potential customers, because just calling them and having the demo, I have this idea. And when you have the idea, you have like so many like small ideas under there. So it's like so confusing for the customers. But if they see and if they can like clickable mockup, they can actually like try it out. Then they can say that, actually I didn't use this part. So you can cut this part already out. It's not like the first essential thing that caught their eye that brings you the money in. So the only thing that you need to develop is that actually brings you the money in from the first day. So that is like, otherwise they cannot pay, otherwise they cannot use it. So everything else you can add on later.
Given that you are still here, the sprint was successful for you. There was validation.
Yeah, it was. It was really good.
As far as I checked on Motiveer's landing page, you currently have a pool of 215 experts.
Well, we have around like 250 experts actually, but we are not actively onboarding because we are now moving to the phase number 2. We have, with this year or the end of the year, we have terminated to phase 1, which was to gather the essential minimum viable pool, what is necessary also to develop the matching model. And to see and to test the customer needs, and also to go and to enter to headquarters now globally, not to make it anymore market by market. Entry like we did in Estonia and Latvia, we are calling this a safe sandbox, where we test it with local customers. They saw their how can I say, like familiar names, the companies there. Oh, I would go work with that. They're in your pool. So it gives you the trust and everything. Even if there's like side by side with other experts, okay, they must be validated also then. So now we're entering to the next phase, and we haven't never onboarded the experts so that we are publicly saying, come and join us. Because we want them to be validated. We need to be able to be sure that they are recommended by some of the companies and some of the experts. So that's why we have only this referral-based access to our pool, that other experts refer others, or companies refer the experts. And we're moving now to the next phase where we want to actually have the global pool. So it means that it moves, yes, we still have this, our community, and they will be, like you will be always our virtual shareholder, you're like the part of the company in that sense, but, and you're always going to be like the deep matches, because we have the direct communication and we are able to offer more services connected with our existing pool. But for the networking and how to find as a search engine, we're moving now to the stage of, but let's find somebody from India, from US, from Germany. Let's not limit with borders, but whoever has a public profile up there in the LinkedIn or other sources, then we're able to reach them and to map them down and to refer the names that the matches with these people is so.
That kind of answers the last question I planned for our conversation here. So what's next for Motivir? So that's going global.
Yeah, it's going global now.
Yeah. But since we still have some time, what does it take for you to maintain that community of experts and engage them?
It's a challenge, of course, because it's... But what I see, the high correlation is between how much are you willing to invest yourself in personal connection, then this is how much you get back also. So I see the correlation when I'm like, I don't know, I'm focusing more on the sales or to something like this. And if I'm not investing to community, then it's like the communication drops down also and the participation in the meetings. But what we have done or how we have built a community is actually through that you have like 250 colleagues internationally in one room. So use it. Whether you need to find a collaboration partner, whether you want to ask from Estonia how's Latvia's doing, whether you have, I don't know, Latvian expert has Estonian company as a customer, just take a call to fellow expert and asking how I should be prepared. Is there any cultural things that I should be aware of? Do you know this customer? Is there any challenging for me? So it's basically like if you're a solopreneur expert, you have actually the agency of 250 experts. That's just like one call away from you.
Yeah.
The other things that we have done is that we are always transparent. We are transparent how we're doing. Is it the good or bad? Doesn't matter. So it means that we have quarterly virtual shareholders meetings where we say out all the numbers, because you are the shareholders. You have right to know. And at the same time, the best experts are in our pool. So if we need the help, we just can ask you. Yeah. So it's like we have also, it's like the teamwork. There has been like different things that we have tried out. But what I see that delivers the most is when we have the meetups virtually or face-to-face meetups, because people want to communicate actually. But it takes time and energy to keep it up. But if you do that, then people actually they want to communicate, they want to see each other, they want to create new relations and networking. Yeah. And I'm so happy to see that some of the experts from our pool have found each other and now making projects together. So for me, it's like the best thing that can happen. That I see that we have succeeded. So for me, I think this is the most valuable thing that we can offer a solopreneur, that they wouldn't feel so alone, because you're not alone. We're all here together.
The profession of coaches, trainers, or solopreneurs can get lonely. I can say that from the experience. Therefore, that community element is really, really critical. But that's something that can be attributed to everyone. Everyone needs a community. And I think it's really cool that Motivere is providing this for the coaches and trainers. And also what you're bringing up, this mindset of colleagues. So I'm not like a coach and coach. We're not competitors. We are colleagues.
And this is a big mindset change, actually. How to see another coach as not a competitor, but how to join the forces and actually maybe make something more better.
I have one more question since our time is running up, and I've been enjoying this conversation a lot so far. Let's go back to the entrepreneurs. If some of the listeners were creating a marketplace or community, what would be one or two things you would recommend them to take into account?
It was my first marketplace type or this kind of like type business, but how we did that was that we were just honest and we did it personally. And it's really easy to join somewhere when you feel that you're special and you're wanted. And as we only invited the experts who were recommended to us, then it was quite easy for us. It was just like, hey, these guys just said really, really good things about you. Mm-hmm. Would you like to build this together with us? So, and what I have heard back from the community members, or we don't have only Estonian and Latvian experts. We have also from the London and from Ireland, and like really cool mentors and coaches also from abroad who have heard about us from fellow colleague who is part of our community. And when I asked like, okay, why you have reached out, or what is like, why we're so different for you? There are like so many like other international, I don't know, competitors there. So why do you want to be part of us? And then they have said to me, because we feel that you don't use us, but you like build it together with us. Our business model and everything is built on win-win solution. It means that we're here to support you. And if we succeed, then you succeed. And we can only succeed if you succeed. So we are like, it's like codependent relationship in that sense that it's not just like, okay, give me a picture, I will put it on some platform and then I'm asking you 30 euros and not giving a damn if you have your earnings or not. So it's like, we need to push ourselves also, how to sell you and how to do that together. And this is what have been appreciated, that you are putting yourself also not so comfortable situation to deliver the work. And at the same time, it takes away the pressure from us if we're not able to succeed in first year, for example, to make the breakthrough. I don't know, that all the companies using the Motivare, because we haven't taken the money. We're just figuring out all together how to get that entrance. And now as the bigger companies already have signing with us for the global usage, now we see that, okay, but it gave us also, it didn't push us over the edge also, it gave us the air to breathe also, that, okay, let's try together. What are your thoughts? So it's like, I think the collaboration is the cornerstone in there.
Karin, I'm going to say it's been a great pleasure having you as the first guest of Beyond Sprint podcast, and hearing you out on the journey from how Motivere started to where you're currently. Best of luck for Motivere in the upcoming year.
Thank you.
That wraps up my conversation with Karin Kuusk, the founder of Motivere. Let's take a moment to highlight 3 key insights from today's episode. Start small and validate. Karin shared how Motivere started by manually matching experts with companies, which allowed them to test their concept and refine their model before investing in a platform. This iterative approach ensured they were solving the right problems. Next one, the power of community. Karin emphasized fostering a supportive community among experts. She demonstrated how Motivere creates a sense of belonging helping solopreneurs feel connected and enabling meaningful collaboration. And finally, a win-win philosophy. At the heart of Motivator's success is a commitment to a win-win approach, supporting experts and growing together with them. This unique focus on collaboration rather than competition has set them apart in the marketplace. So thank you, Karin, for sharing your inspiring journey and actionable insights. And I thank you to our listeners for tuning in to this episode of Beyond Sprint. Stay connected for more stories directly from startup founders. Till next time.